Larambal Jate Vertor Narvode. For those of you unfamiliar, I was speaking Mandoa, the language spoken by the Mandalorians of the fictional lore. In English, it means welcome and good morning, my brothers and sisters, with the last word Vode, meaning both brothers and sisters, as there are no gender terms in most of Mandoa. So again, welcome Vode to our first official religious sermon, air quotes. I'm Udesla Jorir, co-founder of the Way of The Mandalore Religious Movement. And today we will discuss some basic history of the religious movement, as well as highlighting some of the differences between the fictional lore and our beliefs. The crux of which was adapting the lore from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away to be practical and applicable to 21st century Earth. So obviously our movement is not a simple copy-paste job of the fictional lore, rather we were inspired by it. Our movement began around 3 years ago, in December of 2019. The Mandalorian show brought a lot of new attention to the fictional universe and Mandalorian culture specifically. The famous line,
"I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion,"
being a major factor. A lot of discussion happened online on social media, on all the different sites, Facebook and Reddit, and all over the place, really, as to whether it would be possible to do what the Jedi Order had done in Texas years ago. That is, to make a real-world religion based around the Mandalorian beliefs. A few of us started the Facebook page and began researching what it would take to make that happen. Inspired by the fictional Raisonner, which means 6 actions in Mandoa, we developed the 12 core tenets of the Way of the Mandalore. We'll cover more on that in a little bit. Once we developed the core tenets and designed our specific religious sigil, our main focus shifted to growing our audience and building a community where keepers of the way could meet, share knowledge, just be in fellowship, get to know one another. We had a number in our heads, a base number we wanted to reach on the Facebook page and in the Facebook group before we believed that we were ready to begin taking the legal steps to have the Way of the Mandalore officially recognized. And that number was 10,000 likes on the page and 1,000 members in the group. Once we hit those numbers, we figured enough people were serious enough about this to make it happen. Even if maybe only 1/4 of the likes on the page and the members in the group were serious about it, whereas others were just curious, or others just happened to join and like everything Mandalorian related. At the very least, we had a wider a base, a broader reach to go from once we hit 10,000 likes and 1,000 members. We found a law firm in Ohio who was not only willing, but they were actually rather eager to take us on as clients. Ohio was chosen for quite a few reasons, mainly because it's my home state, and therefore it's easier to coordinate legal meetings and set up the accounts and handle all things on the official side. Not only that, but also because many of the existing laws and under the Ohio Revised Code, they have little or no opposition to our core beliefs. It's very compatible. So that's when we started fundraising, more than just the patch sales we had been doing up to that point. We set up the GoFundMe back in 2021 in November, and reached the estimated dollar amount that the legal team gave us in March of 2022. We started filing the paperwork. The state paperwork went through rather easily, and we were officially granted the status of a domestic nonprofit on May 5th, 2022. The next step was to apply with the IRS. We submitted all the paperwork in June of 2022. We had a few hiccups along the way, but as of the date of this recording, we are still awaiting their answer, as we are entering tax season, and considering it took them about 5 months to respond to our initial application, we have to be patient. Updates will be posted on all of our social media as they become available. Now, moving on as to who we are and what we believe. As I said, we took some inspiration from the Raisonner, the 6 actions, that the fictional Mandalorians live by. Boiled down to their simplest forms, they are, and in no particular order, depending on where you look online, they are in different order. Number 1, speak the language. Number 2, wear the armor. Number 3, serve your clan and contribute to its collective welfare. Number 4, rally when called by the Mandalore. Number 5, defend yourself and your clan. Number 6, raise your children as Mandalorians. As I said, our religious movement is not simply a copy-paste of these actions. We'll break down the various reasons and differences in a moment. But in order to do that, you need to be familiar with our 12 core tenets. In their abbreviated forms, they are, in order: Number 1, remain armed. Number 2, remain armored. Number 3, never initiate violence. Number 4, defend those who cannot defend themselves. Number 5, weapons and armor are holy. Number 6, train both body and mind. Number 7, judge others by their actions only. Number 8, be self-sufficient. Number 9, keep some aside for foundlings. Number 10, remain loyal. Number 11, spread the way to those who will hear. And number 12, do not isolate. Now, in later messages, we'll discuss in depth exactly what each of these mean. But hopefully, those abbreviated forms should be enough to get the points across for the context of this first initial message. Now, other than the obvious, what have we adapted and why? Let's start with the first action of the raison we listed. Number 1, speak the language. To be clear, learning Mandoa is something to be encouraged. There are quite a few resources online you can find. It's a quick internet search away. Lots of translator tools and dictionaries. And even some of the earlier Keepers of the Way podcasts covered it. If you're interested, those are searchable on Spotify and Anchor. But why don't we require this in our faith? The main reason is that requiring learning an entire language as a requisite for claiming a religion is, honestly, it's a bit much. Again, learning what you can is to be encouraged, but not a lot of people have the time to become fluent or even conversational in this other language. Additionally, being as spread out as we are across the United States and indeed all over the world, it's hard to learn a language when you don't have anyone to speak it with. You can try online with the different voice chatting and video chatting things, but it's not something that we felt was a very practical requirement to learn an entire language just to claim that religion. That was beyond what we thought was reasonable. Additionally, the language was developed from an English base, and the available translators online are primarily English to Mandoa. The Way is not only for those who speak English. We have Keepers of the Way all over the world, as I said. Number 2, wear the armor. This one didn't change, except for perhaps the frequency and the context of the armor itself. The next 3 actions are related, as are the reasons why they were adapted. Number 3, serve your clan and contribute to its collective welfare. Number 4, rally when called by the Mandalore. And number 5, defend yourself and your clan. All 3 of these could conceivably fall under tenets 10 and 12. But we do not have a recognized or official clan structure at this time. This is deliberate. This was a deliberate move as we wish to avoid any fracturing or sectarian conflicts that can arise when people begin to identify more with their group factions than by their unifying faith. Additionally, we do not have, as of now, a single Mandalore or central leader. For now, all governing and doctrinal issues are being handled by a council and the Armorers Guild. Number 6, raise your children as Mandalorians. Our beliefs on this particular one have raised a few eyebrows among some people, including the IRS. They place a certain amount of weight on the religious education of children, but in keeping with Tenet 11, we do not believe in forcing our religion on anyone, and that includes our own children. As Morpheus said in Matrix Reloaded, when he was told not everyone believes what he believes.
My beliefs do not require them to.
That is not to say that we keep our children in the dark about our religion. This is not something we practice in secret. This is not a behind closed doors kind of adults only hush hush. We are to teach them about the way and what it means and why we do what we do, why we believe what we believe. But we don't believe in the deep indoctrination that some other religions practice. Everyone who chooses to keep the way must come to that decision on their own. And if our children make the choice not to keep the way, that is their decision and it must be accepted and respected. And they must not be treated any differently because of it. This closes out this brief, very brief, introduction to the Way of the Mandalore, the Mandalorian Religious Movement, and hopefully it helps clarify just a few things about who we are and what we believe. More information can be found on the Facebook page by searching for, quote, The Way of the Mandalore, the Mandalorian Religious Movement. We're also on MeWe and have a limited Twitter presence. The links will be in the description of this video. Please give us a like and a follow if you're interested in learning more about us and our faith. And please donate to the Patreon if you are so inclined to help us continue to bring these multimedia messages to you and to others. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them in future videos or Facebook posts. Until next time, Vore, Vorentie Mandoare, Balkoir, Morotiek Ibik Runi. Thank you, brothers and sisters, and be safe. This is the way.